Hey everyone, it's Blake. Welcome in to episode number 25 of our Exploring the CVerse series in TEW 2020. This is UEW, Ultimate European Wrestling. And this is one that, as I said in the previous episode, will be a little bit different in terms of what the product is and those kind of things to some of the other entertainment-based type promotions. We've talked about quite a few of those in this series, but this will be a little bit different as it is all about the wrestling. So let's talk about UEW. And again, be sure to go back, check out all the other videos we've done here in the Exploring the CVerse series, 20 plus. To this point, we're going to look at every starting company in TEW 2020 in the CornellVerse. So be sure to check out all the other ones we've done as well. All right, UEW, Ultimate European Wrestling, starts as 30th in the world. Tiny promotion, $55,000 to work with, 24% prestige, 20% momentum. As we said, it is a tiny promotion, and we look at the size here. Need to achieve 35 popularity, 28 so far. You should be able to get there soon, I would say, in terms of if you're booking, pretty respectable shows for a company of this size. Should be able to get to small at some point in the near future, I would say, depending on who you decide to use on your roster and what kind of ratings you get. But I think it's clearly manageable from that standpoint. So let's look at the background, as always, with this promotion. So it's one of the ones that was created, kind of the offshoot from the UCR closing back in 2007. And it's really the traditional wrestling. Those are the two words to really think about when it comes to this promotion, because it is really sort of the opposite of EWA. We've already talked about EWA. You can go back through. I don't remember if it was episode 22, 23, something like that. But you can go back and check out EWA with Byron running the show there. Much different, because that was all about sports entertainment, and we talked about how that could be a lot more appealing for that promotion to sort of gain ground in terms of sponsorships, those kind of things, visibility. A little bit different here with the UEW, because it is kind of without the entertainment aspect. It's really just the wrestling, and that's what it's been about. But as you see here, there is a fan base that has really leaned into the fact that it is a company that treats pro wrestling seriously. So that is who you're appealing to here with this particular promotion. The product, as you'll see, is exactly what you would expect. Traditional wrestling. As it says here, sort of the Western slant on Japanese style. You can still use the angles, so don't, it is a lot about the matches, but as we always say with these kind of promotions, it's sort of less is more when it comes to the angles. The angles you do use will need to just sort of be those big ones, because you're not going to get a lot of them. So how can you kind of put those into your booking plans and all that? But 95% matches, 5% match angles. As always, this is, a little variety. You can go a little bit less than this. Just you can kind of get away with it, given that percentage there. So that is sort of your setup. You have a strict face-heel divide. No surprise there, given sort of the background of the traditional wrestling, those kind of things. You know what I'm going to say about the style. Physical style, probably going to be more injuries. And so those kind of things are just going to happen. So, yeah, you kind of expect that if you've used a Japanese promotion in the past of any way, shape, or form there, whether it's, a real world mod or this kind of, CVerse, whatever, like you're going to get more injuries with the kind of style and product that you have here. So, you're going to need some longer matches. I mean, that's kind of what it, usually 15 minutes. We've seen that a lot in terms of the world-class scores. This one is 20, so 20-plus minute matches you only need to have to get those world-class scores. I mean, you can see, look, you're not going to be able to do a lot of these sort of match aims here. Again, you guys understand this. Like, it's traditional wrestling, so you're not going to worry about all this entertainment, silly stuff. Like, it's not necessary, and it's not something the crowd wants. So, short angles, you do need still to show and technical masterclass on every single event. So that is worth noting in your booking to make sure you have those. That's, again, this is wrestling. Like, this is not sports entertainment. This is wrestling. And that is what this company is all about. And it's pretty simple and straightforward when it comes to that. Schedule wise, normal schedule, you do have your season finale event, which is certainly set for August. That's the anniversary spectacular. And so, as I always say, I think the thing you can do with ones that don't have graphics or anything, you can kind of lean into the theme name of the show, those kind of things. So, what could European Wrestle Festival mean? The anniversary spectacular, championship quest, like just lean into the names, figure out exactly maybe, what you could do with that from a theme standpoint if you want. Or, hey, just use the names for what they are, and you don't have to do anything else with them. So, yeah, normal event schedule here, nothing really of note there. Titles, same thing. I mean, it's your normal set of titles. The World Champion, 30% prestige right now. The Nations Champion, that's your secondary mid-card title there. Your Tag Team Champion and Nations Champion, pretty much on the same level. So, yeah, that's where things stand with that. It is kind of an interesting tidbit you could use in your booking, too. The world title is thought of as the big man belt. Beasts have held the belt, but it looks like Marcelo Ricci here is sort of changing things a little bit, as did Joey Beauchamp. So they're kind of changing the mold here of the world champion in UEW. But do you go back to the Beasts, or do you have someone like Marcelo here, which I'm just going to assume that Marcelo, to me, seems like a heel. You have him sort of being, someone like that who can continue to carry the belt forward. So that is something that you could use there. Just kind of a little immersion right off the bat, I suppose. So, all right, some other stuff here. There's not a lot, as I said. No storylines, no stables. Tag team division. There's not a lot. There's 5 tag teams, so you could use that. You can add some more tag teams as always. Those kind of things. I'm trying to look. No, none of the usual stuff here. If you're a bigger company, so you don't have to worry about any of this stuff necessarily. Certainly not eligible for the Federation of the Territories. You have a relationship with Burning Hammer, which you can accept workers on excursion. So that's something that can help your depth a little bit. I do think it's a roster that lacks a little bit of depth, but look, it's to be expected as a tiny company. So maybe accepting some workers from Burning Hammer can really help here. And you also, sorry, I forgot to add this one. As expected, you have a hostile attitude with Byron and the EWA, so that's not a surprise given the big difference between the style and the product of those two companies. So that is something there. If you want to, feed or fuel the fire there, you can with EWA. So, all right, creative, we go. Only one person on the franchise players list here. That's Kalu Owusu, 42 years old, top star in terms of the popularity and those kind of things. So, yeah, I mean, again, we always say it's like a guessing game when it comes to the age and when guys are going to retire, those kind of things. But clearly, your top star here with that 16-year veteran brawler. So, yeah, 30 overall in kind of your home region here. So, yeah, that's always stuff to look at when you're looking at companies and trying to figure out who to push and those kind of things. Currently, no next big thing. So, I don't know if that's ideal, but there's no one in there. But you do have a full list of hot prospects here, kind of wide range of guys in terms of their age. I did put that Mendoza here, I think, is sort of the guy for the future. Good star quality, kind of has all those things. And as we see in the bio, future of the company. So someone there, regular wrestler, people person. So he can kind of be the future star, perhaps, of the promotion. But you've got some other good talent here. Clubber Cole, it's a great name. I love the Clubber Cole name. So, yeah, I'm surprised he's a brawler. I'm just kidding. I think it's clearly going to be a brawler. So, yeah, someone else that you could build around. Just given, these are pretty good skills here in terms of just all the athletic stuff that you need. So I like that about Clubber. Yeah, so you can go through the list here and kind of look at the different hot prospects and showstoppers. I do want to bring up Conrad Mackinnon here because this is someone, Dolph Ziggler, he's got the star quality, got the sex appeal, got some really good stats here in terms of what he can do. So clearly a rising star. Yeah, it even says his bio, 28 years old. So this is someone I would definitely build around if I were, booking here, this promotion, 28 popularity, and 28 years old, 28 popularity in the home region. So that's really where you're trying to grow. So he's someone that I would circle to definitely book, pretty steadily and start to kind of climb him up the ladder quite a bit because he's got the skills there. Joey Beauchamp, we talked about earlier, 43 years old. So someone, my guess is will retire pretty soon. 25-year veteran. So yes, but can still, as we see here, can put on some good matches just given where the skills are. I assume those are going to be declining. Currently out injured, so that's worth noting. I guess we could see kind of where, so he's out. So there you go. There's a starting injury you have to note. That is one of your sort of top stars there, out for 3 months to start things off. So you'll have to note that. as well. We talked about Ricci, someone who, like I said, I think it's, clearly has the entertainment skills, but also has some decent skills in terms of in the ring. And, you can continue to go down the list here with those kind of people there. So, that's kind of what you're looking at to start off with here for this promotion. I guess we didn't look at Gordon Levy here, 29 years old, but has some pretty good skills here. Not entertainment necessarily, but you're not really worried about that in a sense. So, that's kind of a look at where things are with this company. And again, it's something where you have an interesting mix of styles. You've got a current world champion that's kind of bucked the mold a bit. He's not your traditional beast or powerhouse. So, do you start to lean into that? Do you go back the powerhouse route? As we said, Ricci here. Oh, he's a babyface. I don't know why I would have thought that he was a heel. I don't know why he's looked like a heel to me. But that's great. We'll cheer him on. The babyface, Marcelo Ricci here. So, everyone else, you can kind of look. Menace got a good Menace rating. I'm not surprised by that. But, do you lean back into the powerhouses and the beasts? Because you got quite a few of those on this roster. Let's call it what it is. We talk about Clubber. You got some beasts here, and a lot of people like that. So, it's a pretty interesting mix of styles, I think, on this roster. That's one of the more interesting things to look at when it comes to this promotion. So, there's a lot of stuff you can look at there. And, I think it's, as I said, I know like just the product itself, more about the matches. You're going to be, rated more on the in-ring work versus the popularity, those kind of things. But, when we look at the popularity ratings, we're just kind of giving you an idea of where people are at to start with, but you are really looking at the skills and trying to, go get workers that can do that. And as we said, whether that's bringing in people from Burning Hammer on the excursion or developmental deals, or, going out and I always say, I probably haven't brought this up enough, but like you can really lean into the hidden gems too. Like I think it's a good starting point, and that's why they're there, right? Is to really start to look at the different talent that's out there that maybe, you do have finances to think about with these small companies, but there are people out there that maybe you can bring in to really start to build up, and knowing that you're not necessarily have to go out and just get the most popular people. You're just looking for guys who can work. And so, that the popularity will come eventually, but you do need people that can work. So, but I think this is an interesting group here, even though roster may lack overall depth, but you got some talents that you can sort of dive into their bios a bit and maybe have some fun with. So there is a look at UEW, Ultimate European Wrestling, and there's a lot of just, again, fun stuff going on with these different promotions there, and there's just so many different ones, as we said, when you look at the CVerse, an interesting mix of all these companies. So as always, be sure to leave your feedback in the comments. If you've played with UEW before, what are your tips and tricks, what's worked, what hasn't worked, those kind of things. I think it's always kind of fun to look at, with that. So, that's just, it helps other players, people who are wanting to kind of go into the CVerse a bit, and it's always great to have some good comments, and your tips and tricks are always appreciated. I enjoy reading them more than anything in the series. Like I said, I learn stuff just doing this, but I learn more usually from you guys leaving comments. So be sure to do that, and check out all the other stuff we have on the channel. WWE, AEW, WCW, 1998. We got a lot of stuff on the channel, so check out all of those saves as well. CVerse save coming in the future once we finish up this particular series, and a lot more to come as well. But on the next episode of our Exploring the CVerse series, we will head to Japan once again as we look at Pro Wrestling Sideshow.